ለእናንተ ለማካፈል ዛሬ በዚህ ተገኝታለች። በጥሞና ተከታተሉ። ያለራል አመሰግናለሁ።
So we're going to talk about my journey from 2009 to 2013, okay? So, I don't remember a lot of faces, but that's fine. So we're going to see what my agenda is today. We're going to talk about my background first, how I decided to do what I did, what did I do and where, and a few pointers for you guys, okay? Believe it or not, 4 years ago, that was me. I know I'm a bit different, but the point is, I was exactly where you guys are right now. Took the same exams, went through similar challenges, and I was sitting here for studying and doing all sorts of things. So my point is, I started out exactly where you guys are right now. I want to ask you guys a question, or actually a couple of questions. What is your favorite subject right now? You can raise your hands and tell me, like one by one, a few students. Anyone? Okay. Math? Okay. Anyone else? Bio? Anyone else? No one? Okay. Chemistry? Great. That was actually my favorite subject too. Do you see yourself building a career out of that? Out of math, bio, or chemistry? That's okay. Let me share my experience. So, actually, Cesar was one of my chemistry teachers, and he knows I like chemistry. And so because of that, naturally, I chose to do chemical engineering. But to my surprise, chemical engineering was nothing like chemistry I took here. But I decided to stick with it. I decided to see it through, right? And so that didn't disappoint me. So my point is, if you like something right now, pursue it. Even if it's not exactly like you thought it was, continue. Just go for it, okay? Okay, so I already told you I did chemical engineering. I did chemical engineering at McMaster University. MAP is it's the 5th best school in Canada. It is well known especially for its engineering and medical field. During my stay in Canada, within the last 4 years, I had 3 jobs. I did volunteering, and I also was an executive member of NSBE. NSBE's National Society of Black Engineers, the McMaster chapter. Okay, let me start from my worst job. My worst job is a core aeration specialist. So I know that sounds fancy, but all I did was carry around a 250-pound machine for 12 hours. I didn't carry it, actually. I pushed it. So what it was is you pretty much make holes into people's lawns. But to do that, you first have to sell the service. You have to knock on each person's door, tell them what you're about to do. If they say yes, then you go ahead and try and push that machine through their lawn. It's draining, to say the least. My mom cried when she heard I was doing that. But I learned a couple of things. I learned that not everything is easy, right? I did only 3 shifts of that. I did 36 hours in total. I would start my shift 8 a.m., finish at 8 p.m., which is like 12 hours full. And the worst thing about that was the fact that you weren't paid hourly. You were paid based on how much services you gave. So I literally walked home with $6 one day. That is unbelievable, right? So I didn't get this job. The reason I kept going back to this job is until I found a second job. My second job was a server. I served at an Ethiopian restaurant for 2 years while I was in school. My 3rd and 4th year. I started the summer before my 3rd year and finished summer after my 4th year. I know you guys think, what does waitressing have to do with anything, right? Truthfully speaking, I learned a lot of things from my job. I learned multitasking. I learned time management skills. I learned to make small talk with people I've never seen before. And most of our customers are actually non-Ethiopian, so I got to learn a lot of the Canadian culture through the people I actually serve. And whenever I had time, I would take my time, talk to them, tell them about Ethiopia, tell them that it's not all poverty, it's not all bad things, and give them insight on how Ethiopia is. And most of them, quite honestly speaking, they were shocked that I could speak English. One lady actually asked me if girls went to school in Ethiopia, and I said, I went to school, then I came here. If I didn't go to school, I wouldn't be in university, right? So the point is, nothing is too small to do. You can, if you think about it, you can actually learn from anything. If you open up your mind, and if you want to learn, honestly, you can learn from any experience. My third job was, I did 2 jobs this last summer, and that's, I was a student fundraising representative. All I did was pretty much, for 3 hours, I'd sit and call people who graduated from McMaster. We call them to talk about McMaster and ask them for money to give back to their school, so that the school can, give out to different designations that it has. That also, I learned a lot of things. People don't like giving money. Come on, like who wants to dash out money, right? So you have to overcome objections. You have to talk to a lot of angry people. Not everyone was happy with the school they went to. You have to talk to nice people also. It's not always that. But the point is, I also learned a lot from that. I learned to be assertive. I learned to, communicate effectively within 7 minutes, because we had a limit. And our supervisors would always be listening to our calls, so you can't mess up or anything, right? So I did volunteering, as I said. One of the prominent places that I volunteered at is called Future Aces. I did 3 consecutive conferences with them. What they did is they collected around 250 students from different schools. It's a high school-based leadership conference. What they did was pretty much look out for people who had potential, look out for people who were at risk, and bring them to that weekend conference. So I was in charge of leading 13 students throughout the entire weekend. It's not always the greatest stories, but again, you learn a lot from these things. Yes, I had to skip a few days of school, but I had permission. One time I actually did my midterm during that conference. So I had a guy from the conference sit, and I did a chemistry exam in that conference. So sometimes you have to give up some things, but you have to make sure your priority is school, right? The last thing that I did was NSBE, that's National Society of Black Engineers. I was a programs chair for that club. All I did was I coordinated events and made sure they happened. So the thing about this is it's the most stressful position in the entire group, because you have to make sure you have a place, you have a guest speaker, you have the food ready, and you have people that listen to the guests. Because you don't want to have a guy drive over an hour to have no one listen to him. So we had to be in charge of advertising, in charge of making sure everything fell into place. Again, that really helped me with my organizational skills. So you can learn anything from pretty much anything you do. Just make sure somehow, whenever you do something, you gain something out of it, right? Okay. My presentation isn't long, by the way. I'm going to give you guys time to ask me questions at the end. I don't guarantee that I have answers to everything, but I'll try. A few pointers before I let you guys go. Take advantage of the fact that you are unique. No one will bring the set of skills one individual in this room can. You're different, you're different, you're different, right? So take advantage of the fact that you can make change in your personal way. You can bring change to this world in your own unique way. You're different. You're not the same as everyone else, right? Don't waste your time trying to look like someone else. Don't waste your time trying to be like someone else. You're created the way you are for a purpose, right? So take advantage of the fact that no one else can offer what you can offer. All right? Be a world changer. I graduated in chemical engineering, but I don't want to stop there. I don't want to just live for myself and pass on. I want to be one of those people who actually made a difference in this world. I want to see, personally, the number of orphans in Ethiopia go down from 3.5 million to 0. I I want to be one of those people who made change. So be that person, and don't settle for less. Don't settle for less. So don't settle for less. Don't ever, go for something smaller than you are. Think big, aim big, and don't ever think you're too small, too young, too short to do anything. Don't ever think Wasn't there a really short NBA player? Those who watch basketball? Yeah? There was one, I don't know his name, but he was the shortest guy in the NBA and he made it. So the point is, don't settle for less, right? When I was going to Canada, I was in this school for 15 years. Believe it or not, I grew up in this school. I knew all of my friends in this school. I had all of my family around me. I grew up in a loving, big family, friends. When I went to Canada, I did not know any. Well, I knew my relatives, but the city I was in, I knew no one. So through God's grace, I was able to go 4 years living alone. Met a couple of friends on the way. So if I had thought, I'm too emotional for this, and yeah, I'm very emotional. If I thought I'm too emotional for this, if I thought I'm too small to do this, I'm too young to do this, then I wouldn't be here right now. So think big. Don't ever settle for less. And thanks a million. Thank you. If you have any so if you have any questions, shoot. Any questions at all? Okay, I'm going to ask questions. What did you guys take out of my talk? I know this is the first big crowd I've spoken to, by the way. So what did you guys take out of my talk? What do you guys think that you now know differently than you did 20 minutes ago? Because remember, you don't want to waste your time on anything, right? You want to make sure you take something out of anything that you do, right? You want to make sure that you learn, and you want to make sure that even after 10 minutes, even after a talk, or even after reading something, you want to make sure that you are a changed person. It doesn't have to be like a 180 change or 360 change, but like something different in your system, right? So what did you take out of this talk? Should I read the talk? Okay, well, thank you guys for listening. You guys are great listeners, and have a great day, okay?